Yo, 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 Hollow Knight Nation, yeah! Hollow Knight Nation. Alright, alright. It's been going for like 4 days, maybe? I honestly can't remember. And I already forgot it. I missed it. I've been a horrible assistant. Oh well, here we go. Here goes another hour of my life. Yeah, if I wasn't doing this, I wasn't playing right now, I'd be working on Android Studio, trying to make an app for a school project. We're making like an NFC reader, me and a group, and I'm in charge of the reading NFCs portion. And then the other people are like going storage of NFCs and emulating and stuff. But I ran into an issue of documentation being like super. I'm just not used to working with Android a lot and Java, so I'm facing a bunch of issues of just understanding some core concepts, specifically regarding permissions. That took me a lot of time to get that going in a working state. I ended up using AI to write much of the actual code just to test it afterwards, and it seems to be working, like the permissions and all that. But now I need to like figure out how to read the correct data. Specifically, what we want is to be able to read like a study card and I don't know, just kind of clone it, I guess. There are probably some legal and ethical issues here. But currently, I'm just looking for the issue of how do I fucking do that, right? So far, I've been able to extract various data about the NFC, the specific tag, like how much data it sends, how far it can send data, and such things. And it's realized to the app, like if I'm just hovering my phone over any NFC reader, if I have the app open or not, it'll open my app and say, hey, look at this, this is what I got from information. Now, that's cool enough. It shows that it can be read, and we can technically store that information, give it a number, or give it a name tied to a serial number or something, or ID. And then we could, like, I don't know, emulate that in a way that just means showing that data again. It feels a bit cheap in comparison to what, like, we wanted to be able to actually use the data on the chip, but I haven't been able to figure out how to do that. I really haven't looked into it a lot. I've mostly been fucking with permissions, and it hasn't been that long. I took it like 2 hours to get that working yesterday. It was kind of fun, I guess. Not really particularly. I think I'm the type of guy who loves learning when I'm just in the headspace to enjoy something, enjoy a process. I'm going into something and feel like, okay, let's see what this does. And we go into this, and I learn. And then you suddenly get like sidetracked by, oh, but what about this thing that I'm now noticing? And you can just have the free time to focus on this side tangent. I like going on tangent and exploring them, and really going into the deep on those, and until I truly believe I understand it. And yep, all right, cool. Let's go back and move on. And if I don't really learn the thing that I intended to, that's all right. I learn everything else in the meantime, like just a bunch of other stuff. I like that, just learning in that sense. But if I'm learning to accomplish something, I often find it a bit, how could I say, if I'm learning within a quick time frame, like I just need to learn this and then I can move on. I often take a lot of like shortcuts and cut corners, trying to learn only the thing that I'm interested in and ignore everything else. And it's just a much less enjoyable experience. So it's kind of like a balance you need to strike between having complete freedom in everything I do and just kind of branching off immediately and learning something completely different from what I was intending initially, or if I'm locking in, only focusing on one thing, not really enjoying the process, but eventually getting the correct result. Right? There's a balance there that I've been able to strike for the most part of my life. But for this project, not really. I spent a lot of time learning about other stuff, and that was mostly because it was kind of required, you know, the permission stuff, but I haven't learned about the actual NFC stuff. I think it's just one of those things where I do need to branch out and stuff, and it feels kind of weird because, oh, I want to make an NFC reader, and suddenly I'm reading about how to format an XML file for permissions and stuff. It's heavily linked, and it's required in order to work with it. I just hadn't expected it to be so like dependent on so many systems. I guess it's kind of like the whole shtick with Android Studio and stuff. Maybe not even Android Studio, just Android development. Is that there are a lot of independent systems that you can make work together. And what our app essentially accomplishes at this point is that it allows every other app, every other part of the device to say, hey, I've noticed an NFC tag here, and let me call on this app that I just made to read it, you know, to show the data from it. Before I had made this app, I would scan a tag and it would just tell me, no, you have nothing to scan this with. It would tell you, probably do the same for you if you have any NFC card, and maybe even your like MasterCard or whatever. You can try right now and put it into your, if you have an Android, it might probably just like pop out with a toast in the bottom saying, you can't read this, you have no device application to read this. But I've made a device that does open when that's cool. I don't know, it's a cool system. It just takes some getting used to, and like when it comes to programming. If you're not making anything from scratch, you're making another little tumor in the great organism that is my device. I'm gonna probably look into it more today. It's a weekend, I don't need to, I just kinda want to. And also, like, it is a group project, and the quicker I get my part done, the quicker they can get to theirs, because the whole core of the app is to read an NFC's data and then be able to do stuff with it afterwards. So if I don't do that yet, they won't really be able to use their, they won't really be able to do their part. They can set up the most important stuff of it, surely, but I just need to figure it out. The issue that I'm into, though, that I've got myself into, is that the data I'm trying to extract isn't really easily available from the documentation I can see. And also, as it is like a student card specifically that I'm testing on, and it's kind of made for, the data might be encrypted or have some kind of authentication, which I'm not sure how to deal with. There's this encryption and decryption way above my pay grade. That is not within the scope of this project at all. So hoping I'll just be able to extract the data in some big file or whatever, like probably not even that big, to store everything it sends with no encrypting or decrypting or anything, and just holding that, and surely that'll be enough. And then once you want to like use that data, you can just take the entire packet and send it over. I assume that wouldn't work though, because I feel like there should be some kind of authentication for the card whenever it's being read by a device that reads my student card, right? Some sort of verification it's actually the real card, not a clone, because that is essentially what we're trying to do, we're cloning the card. And such a thing might include just a date, a time thing. If you just say, yeah, this is the time. It's a big file it sends, which is not really a file, it's a bunch of bytes. If at any point in those bytes it's a variable that changes based on the amount of time passed, or maybe the location, I doubt it'd be able to know the location, then it wouldn't work. Wait, I'm gonna try to parry this guy. I just saw a video about parrying. It looked kinda cool. I don't know how to fucking parry. I don't know how to fucking parry. Okay, yeah! Nope, not parry. Yeah! Alright, maybe I'll just die here now. That's not good. Nah, I'll be fine. I should have parried there, I should have parried. Woo! Alright. Yeah. actually really want to be able to parry these guys. Oh, okay, that's just that guy. Okay, full HP. That's the range dude. Nope. Nope. I just want to do it once properly. Ah! Funny. I don't know if that counted because I already had iframes in that point. That was a parry, but it didn't save me. I wanted to confidently just take a hit, but don't take damage from it because of a parry. Okay, practicing time. And that's just us. I think it'd be perfect time. Like that, took damage. Is there something I'm missing? Oh shit. Thank God I didn't do double damage. Okay. Nope. Nope. I mean, it's easy to like get the blades like to clash like that, but I'm not living. I'm not like parrying properly. It's a mechanic that I have not explored in this game, and I kind of want to. Oh. No, I failed. Whatever. Whoops. Guess I'll try on a different boss. The guy made it look so easy. Oh, whoops. There we go. Goofy of me getting hit, but hey, what can you do? I don't think you can parry this guy either. I haven't been so talkative this day. Ever since I got a mission to start parrying, I've been mostly like focusing on the bosses, but it's gonna be a while until we get like parryable boss. I say parryable as if I will be able to parry them, but maybe not able to. I don't think I really get the mechanic. It's like I watched the whole ass. No, I didn't watch the whole ass. I clicked on a whole ass 20-minute video, just a guy talking about parrying, which seemed super interesting. And he showed next to no examples, which is kind of annoying. It made me, you know, I was here wanting some entertainment. I wasn't there to learn, and suddenly I clicked on this, just a long presentation with it's essentially like very few pictures, or some every now and again he'd showcase some parrying, and that's what got me hyped on it. Not to say the video is bad, it's just not at that time what I really needed. But it does make me interested in how parrying works and how I should be able to include it in my Hollow Knight fucking arsenal, gameplay arsenal. Parrying is like my favorite mechanic in a lot of games. I think it's like the perfect variation of how to like reacting to a boss is like the best way to make a boss like fun is to have their attacks, all of their attacks be opportunities for the player to somehow progress in defeating the boss, right? If you look at Sekiro, one of my favorite games of all time, literally the whole point of the combat system is that you have to parry in various ways and deflect attacks, and then whenever you do that, they lose, I think it's called riposte or like something, they just lose a second health bar, or rather like they take more damage in the second health bar, and once they've taken full damage there, you can do big damage on their actual health bar, and it's awesome. It's just a really nice way of avoiding situations where you feel out of control in a boss fight. Some boss fights can feel like you're just kind of waiting for a while. Like here I'm waiting for them to stop that attack so I can now attack them. Now I'm going away. It's their turn. Now it's their turn. Now it's my turn and do some attacks. It's their turn and now it's my turn. And this on its own is not that bad. It's like back and forth little dance. Oh shit. But it's almost definitely doesn't live up to the hype of other boss fights. Like if you look at the Tears of the Sisters of Battle. Yeah, what the fuck? Tears of the Kingdom is not what I wanted to say. Sisters is a really awesome example of a fight where whenever they attack, you get opportunity to attack them as well. Like this is a dodge phase. Like there's never a time where you are allowed to deal damage. It's just that they keep attacking you, and at any point while they're attacking, you need to find opportunities to attack them as well. You can dodge and attack at the same time, which is super fun. Like there, you shoot above you. There, I can just dodge and not take damage. I can jump over them, but I'm not doing any damage. If I want to deal damage, I'll have to like find like little nooks and crannies where I can pump in damage. And the real goal is like finding places where you can pump out a lot of damage. Like, how can I get my shriek in, and how can I do nail arts and stuff? I don't know, I think that's super fun. And I think parrying is the best, like the most obvious example of such like gameplay mechanic. Whenever an attack made by the enemy turning into an opportunity for the player. On its own, it just sounds like an awesome concept, but it's also just as fun in practice. Look at Dark Souls 3. My build there was I just like found a katana-ish thing really early on, and I played a dex build. This katana had an ability where it allows you to parry, costing some mana, but it's overall just a pretty good weapon, and it had a parry feature, and it was so fucking fun. It's quick, awesome weapon, nice, and then whenever I played a boss enough, or an enemy, I faced them enough times, I began to like find patterns in their moveset and realize, wait, this attack, this one right here, I think I can maybe parry that. And then I tried, and sometimes I'd fail, oh man, sometimes I'd succeed, and that felt so good. It's like the perfect reward for having understood an enemy's moveset, you know? And that's always just awesome. You're really putting your faith in like your skills there. You're taking an attack head on, not dodging at all. The safer option would be to dodge. High risk, high reward. Face the attack and block it perfectly. You get a shit ton of reward from that. You just get a lot of damage on it. It's just an awesome mechanic, and it's in Holland, kind of. You can, although it's not as much as you getting like perfect and like a shit ton of damage from it. It's just that you take no damage. I don't know. There's only like 2 bosses in the game that can actually parry, and it's the Hollow Knight and Hornet. I think maybe like a random enemy can, maybe 2 random enemies can parry as well. The player can't really do it in the same way like a traditional parry. You can just kind of hit them as they hit you, and that counts as a parry, which makes you invulnerable. Doesn't really do much damage to the enemy, but I can imagine that it's super helpful in a lot of bosses where you can just kind of ignore the damage. It's just a better dodge, maybe more risky. Hollow Knight's version doesn't really seem like it has that much reward to it, but it could definitely be a useful skill to add to my arsenal, right? It's just like in the same vein as like nail arts. They're not super like required. They're just good, you know. I could easily beat most bosses without nail arts, but why would I now that I know how to do nail arts? It's just an increase in my damage. And it's like the kind of same thing where it's like, okay, with nail arts, like with parrying, I can beat this whole challenge without parrying. But why would I when the parrying is just better? Food for thought, maybe. I don't really play this game enough to sink a lot of time in that. But when Silksong comes out, if properly when, then I'll be maybe looking into that more. Although there's a lot more different movesets there as well. I believe I love to like watch those intense analysis of the trailers and stuff and finding out like what little information people can gather. And the concept of different crests or like different almost like charms changing your core moveset is kind of interesting. I guess I'll have to like play around with them a lot and see what I like the most. Different movesets in games is always something that is quite... I don't know, I'm not really sure I've ever really liked it, because I know in Dark Souls I really don't like it. I think it's the RPG elements where you can level up different aspects and different attributes. I really don't like that, because it kind of locks you into a single playstyle relatively early. If I start building strength in a Dark Souls game early, then I'm probably just going to keep building strength later, because then, you know, I've already built so much in strength. It's too late to kind of move now. And then I find like a really epic faith weapon, and you know, I just can't use it. I'm not a faith build. Wah. I didn't like that. And also, if I find like a super interesting, cool-looking dexterity weapon, I'm like, oh, I should really try to use that. I just kind of can't because I don't have levels of dex. And so the reward from that boss is nothing. And I'm gonna continue with my big club. And I know a lot of people really like the pure strength builds, it's just an example. But I found the first time I played Dark Souls, I think it was Dark Souls 1 Remastered. I just really did not have a fun time. I took a shield and a spear and I just maxed strength and nothing else, I'm pretty sure. And I just didn't like the combat. I thought it was super boring. You just take a shield in front of you and stab with your spear. Bro, it's so boring. What the fuck? Well, that's because I played it in a playstyle that just really wasn't my style, and I expect too much into it, kind of, to get abandoned and to change. And then arguably you can change. There's various ways of like respecking, and you can take some time and energy to grind up levels and different stuff. But when you don't know, first of all, you can change your stats because you're not looking at tutorials and wikis. That option's just not there. If you don't know it, you can't really use it. That sticking into an entirely different build halfway through the game is a big commitment that is just shooting out into blank. Right now I have a system that kind of works. I don't really like it. And I have this other, maybe I should try getting into this other system that I don't know anything about. It could be worse, so I don't do that. That's my biggest gripe with the Dark Souls and like all those like From Software games. Also why I think Sekiro is their best one, because it's just a single moveset where you can change a few things. And there's like, you get a special move, you can kind of do whatever you want with. But the core moveset, the core fights are always the same. Also means that all the bosses are designed for that specific core moveset. I think that's probably my favorite. Where I don't like variations in moveset, maybe. At least when they're committal. Maybe it's more fun when you can swap them out all the time. Trying to find examples of that. Maybe Breath of the Wild. There you have various different weapons and stuff, and you can always swap them out. You're kind of incentivized to swap them out all the time because they break all the time. There you get a lot of variety and have to play around with different stuff, and you can maybe use a weapon against one boss or like enemy because it's really good against that boss, and then use a different weapon against a different thing. I like that concept. I don't remember if I really did that in Breath of the Wild though. I haven't really finished Tears of the Kingdom, so it's hard for me to like comment on that. I think I just like bought a shit ton of arrows and used them against everything, and like flurry rushed with a great sword. So it's hard to say if that really worked. I guess charm combinations is kind of a thing. That's different variations. You can drastically change your gameplay style if you put soul upgrading charms as opposed to nail damage upgrading charms and stuff. And I like that. There's some deck building there. Maybe that's what I really like. A core system that works well, and then some optional, not really optional, but like kind of optional. And then on top of that, you get some customization where you can really fine-tune the core system to your liking, the way Holland has done it. And not really Sekiro, that's a whole different thing, but kind of. I think Silksong is going to be much more similar to Sekiro in the type of equipment maxing. And how you get like various equipment, you equip 2 of them, maybe more, as well as your core crest or whatever it's called. It's we'll see how that works. Oh my god. Oh my god. I fucking did that, bro. I thought I killed it before. Oh my god. No, I didn't kill shit. Oh my god, my lifeblood. There we go. Damn, I took a lot of damage there. I had a shit ton of lifeblood, but that's what we have it for. That's why we have it. What the fuck? My friend just texted me a picture of him holding a sword. It's saying that I am now the type that owns a sword. And he is not at all the type that would own a sword. Maybe he is. Maybe I just misjudged him. He's also holding like a big banner of some kind, so I think maybe he won the sword in some contest, which would be hype as fuck, but I don't know, I guess I'll have to like, I guess I'll have to text about it, but that with him. I'm not a guy who owns a sword. It's something that, I don't know if I struggle with, it's just something that I've always kind of thought weird about everyone else than me. Like, why the fuck do people want to own a sword? It's just not that cool. But over the years, I've learned that I'm in the vast minority when it comes to that, at least among my friend groups and my interests. So, yeah, no, it's not really... Swords are cool, I guess. I just don't get it. I think I like swords too. I mean, I like fighting with swords. I had like a lot of fun as a kid even making like custom, what's called like fantasy swords or like role-playing swords. It was never intended for role-playing. We just wanted to like play with them and like hit each other and make various games. We had variations of like Trouble in Terrorist Town, but with I don't know, homemade swords and shit. What are they called? DIY swords? No, it's like skumgummies. Live play swords. Not real swords that don't hurt when you're hitting people. Doesn't fucking matter. I like those and I like fighting with it. The concept of sword fighting seems cool as well. It's like an interesting sport. Owning a real sword, like an actually sharp one, seems like such a fucking waste though. What? That's like what I'd be least interested in. If I got some sword that looked cool and I could hang up and I could take it out and use it, that'd be sick. But if it's just a decorative sharp sword, it's just a kind of safety hazard. That's all it is. Then again, I recognize that is not by far the most like common opinion on that. I just haven't really understood yet. It's just one of those things that some people think is cool, other people don't think it's cool, and that's the end of that. Not everything needs to be logical, I guess. Not everything needs to be understandable. It's kind of annoying. I like to think of everything as like to have a good explanation, but no. This is one of those things that just eludes me. But yeah, no. Cool sword, I guess. It's hard to see the sword actually while I'm fighting for him. It looks like an actually cool sword. Like I think my favorite kind of sword is just regular swords. Oh, that's stupid. Like a lot of fantasy, big super weapons, like they're super thick and super tall, and it's like comically huge, and they're shiny, and they have really fun and crazy shapes. I don't really particularly like those swords because it always just seems it's the epitome of something that's supposed to look cool but not function well, which has always been something I've been kind of against. I'd rather have something that works really well, and I can see it, look at it, and see like, oh yeah, that's why it works well. That's nice. Than something that looks really cool but doesn't work well. Now obviously there's some things that don't really count to this. If I look at a painting and say, oh, this painting is useless, what can I use this for? No, it's meant to look cool. I guess some swords are just meant to look cool. I just think something is a lot cooler when you can understand it and like dissect it and realize like different layers of why it's cool. Take Hallownest lore, you learn something about the lore, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then you look into it more, like, but why? You know, what does that imply for the rest of the world? And you realize, holy shit, that makes sense. And you realize things are connected, and you're like, god damn, this lore is sick. That's what I really like. I like nitpicking and finding out as much as I can about things. I like learning just how far the coolness goes, and a cool fantasy sword is so shallow. It is there's nothing else than that. It's just a cool sword. And that's not cool to me. But a real life, actual usable sword, if it was like made properly, if someone explained to me this is why this is good, I could probably think it's cool. I wouldn't really want to own it. Well, maybe I would want to own it if it costs significantly less. But I don't even buy posters because they're too expensive. I make my own stickers sometimes. I say sometimes as if I've done it more than once. But that's kind of cool, I think. And it's super cheap. If I made my own sword, that'd be hype. I think that would be cool. There's also a store to tell. If I buy a sword online, I don't know what their store is to tell. If I won the sword in some contest, that'd be the fucking sickest shit ever. Then suddenly there would be context to the sword, and it wouldn't just be a sword on the wall that is functionally a safety hazard for children. But it would be a really cool reminder to myself of something awesome that I've done, like I won a contest. And other people would be like, oh, should you have a sword? I'm like, yeah, man, I won it in a contest at school or something. It'd be a good conversation piece and a reminder for myself of the good old times. I'm saying this as if I would be winning any contest soon, but I don't think so. It's just that my friend has a sword and I think he has won it or something. I don't think he's bought it. It might not even be a real sword. It's a really shitty picture. I can't really tell. Oh shit. Yeah. Generally though, I do need to figure out decor better. It's just something that is, like if I look around my own room right now, it is depressingly uninteresting. It's a bunch of white IKEA, like stuff that is slightly worn and like poorly set up so that I kind of scratch some surfaces. My bed and then my PC, where every piece of my PC is black. And maybe sometimes have some RGB in it that I've like turned off for most of it. It does not look very good. The color palette is just black and white. I don't know. It's not a very beautiful room. And I have noticed that, and I'm wondering how I could potentially fix that. If I should go about fixing it. I don't know how, really, because if I look at other meubles, like if I were to buy a different let's say like, fuck, I think I did take heel eens. Okay, yo, if I were to buy new stuff, it'd just be hella expensive, and then I'd have to figure out what to do with my old stuff. Also kind of a hassle, and I don't really know if I want to. One of those things where I just kind of need to get someone to live with who cares a lot more about it, you know. At home with my siblings and mom and shit, I think there were some people didn't really care that much about how things looked. Nah, that's true. There were some care, but my room was by far not the prettiest because I didn't really care when I was younger. I'm only now beginning to think that maybe I should. And then it's hard to play while also picturing, like visualizing things for myself. Then I moved out with some friends, lived in Ranas. That was like the epitome of looking the worst. That's probably the least clean house I've ever been in. And like most poorly set up, I guess. Damn, we parodied it. Which was fine for what we wanted, you know. I didn't really mind, because once again, at that point I still hadn't really started caring about decor. It's only now that I truly live alone and I can say that I control every aspect of everything. I am the one responsible for everything that goes on in here. If it's unclean, it's my own fault. If it looks bad, it's my fault and stuff. And that's when I'm realizing, oh shit, it kind of looks bad. Maybe I should change that. And then I kind of don't get further than that because it looks expensive to change. Yeah. What have I talked about? Swords? How do I get into decor? Oh yeah, I guess if I had a cool sword hanging up, it'd be looking cooler. But I think it's like a detail that'd be sick to apply in an already cool place. Right now it would not fit in anywhere. I think my most pretty area in my house is definitely either probably just my bathroom. It looks pretty. It's like a really small bathroom and it has everything it needs. And I have color coded slightly with some green. Like I bought a green, what's it called, like curtain, and some like green cloth to dry your hands with. And then I bought some blue cloth to dry your body with. Towels, that's what they're called. I thought it's kind of okay, you know. It doesn't really. It's less is more in that room, and that actually worked for something. Then you go into my living room / bed chamber, or whatever it's called, and it's just a bunch of white walls with a few things. I have like a guitar hanging on the wall. I've got like a map of the world just there chilling, and that's about all the things I have on my walls. Of course I got a window, but you know. Here, less is definitely not more. No, this is pretty boring. At the same time, I don't want more to clean, so maybe it's alchemy. This seems like a boss that'd be great to parry. Alright, I shouldn't be trying to parry. Right, yeah. Damn. There we go. No, this movie probably can't parry. I'm not even gonna try. I was gonna try, but I'm not gonna try anyway. Been watching for a while now, D&D podcast made by like Just Roll With It, that's what they're called. The actual campaign is called Wonderlust. It's so fucking good. Holy shit. I've always been like of the opinion that D&D podcasts aren't really my style. I just can't get myself interested. They are it's one of those things that I'd much rather play, and watching other people play it just doesn't scratch the same itch. But while it doesn't scratch the same itch at all, it's just a really fucking funny show. It has one of my favorite YouTubers, Charlie Slimesicle. I kind of stopped watching his content, sadly. It's not really my interest anymore. I don't know if he's changed or I've changed. But personality-wise, I still think he's funny as shit. And he's making like this podcast with a bunch of also pretty funny people, which is just causing a lot of funny situations. It's great. And the DM, fuck if I forget what it's called, Bisley or something. He's just also doing a really good job, and it's honestly making me consider adopting a lot of his styles and their content into my own campaigns, because it's genuinely really impressive. And yeah, I just watched the late at night, watched the newest episode. I was just kind of like looking at it. It's been out for now 7 days, and I'd be like, yeah, I should probably watch that at some point. That seems cool. Super interested. Didn't really find the time. And then last night I realized, okay, now I finally have some time, and I don't really have the energy to do something like productive right now. I just want to chill, but I also didn't want to just waste away. And I figured that's a good time to watch this episode. Now, podcasts and stuff like this is one of those things that I do not want to just watch. I don't really know why. It's probably better if I started to actually watch things instead of having them on my second monitor. But I decided to put it on my second monitor while I was playing Astroneer, which is another game that I've started playing. It's also kind of fun. Playing with some friends. Yeah, no, I just started playing that, listened to the episode. Friend called it like, hey, can I join? I was like, hell yeah, and I paused my video. Then late at night, once I told him, yeah man, I gotta go to bed now, I can't stay awake anymore. I noticed, holy shit, I still have half the episode left. Oh, it's only an hour, I can stay up an hour more. And goddamn, it was just a good episode. I think it'd be wise for me to kind of dissect what I really like about it. I know I might as well talk about it here, but then I can better adopt it into my own style of games and stuff. One thing I really like is Slimesicle's character, Troy. He's just a really bad guy. Who's comically stupid sometimes, and it's fun to see him be absolutely horrific and horrible, because it's like just kind of a joke, and he's a pathetic person who is you're not really kind of rooting for him because he's funny. But when he does stupid shit, he always like evil shit. It's like comically evil, and it's clear that this guy is evil. It's also clear that he's just evil because he's super stupid, and it's also clear that he's super stupid and doing evil shit, and that's just who he is. And then whenever he like does something kind of out of character, it's always perfectly in character because he's just that wild and uncharacteristic, like strange. Like at some point he just goes up into a mountain and becomes like this super druid person, basically just like connects with nature and loves it. It's super out of character from this like evil person, but no, it just kind of fits, I guess. He's just that strange. I guess if it's true that he started hearing voices from nature, he would not be, he would just accept it and love nature, I guess. I don't know, it's just a fun gimmick. I think that joke is not worth dissecting. But yeah, really fun character, who's clearly flawed in a really interesting way, with clear motivations and goals and like convictions that are maybe not like the best in the world, but it's fun to see someone that is so clearly defined and being played by someone who's really good at improvising and like working with such well-defined characters, I guess. Yeah, no, it's super cool. Definitely whenever I make another character, I'll make sure to make them as cohesive and like as kind of defined. I'm saying defined, but I also just ranted about how he was able to do the most weird shit and not feeling weird because he is defined. I don't know, I just kind of want to make a personality that is so detached from myself in a way that it makes it obvious that whatever I say, whenever I do, is clearly in character, and that therefore I can start like really, truly like separating those two and start doing some heinous crimes and shit. I think that would be really fun. I think that's low-key similar to what I've been starting to do. I have started to do that on my own without like actively considering it as part of like, oh, it's the slime style. No, it's like, I made a D&D character a while back, like a Pathfinder character, who just like really lawful good in the sense that he had a moral compass and he just didn't follow that to the letter. There were like no gray areas of morality. You were just evil or you're good, and he could very easily just do a lot of good shit. Like, oh yeah, that's a good thing to do. And then at some point, when there's like more of a gray area, think, oh, this guy is evil, but he's doing it for the sake of this thing. Oh no. And the other PCs would be like, okay, maybe let's find a compromise. So my character would quickly strike down, like, no, this man is clearly evil. Let us smite him. And I think that's a fun character concept. Someone a bit stupid, you know, like not really able to fathom the more complexity of the world. And then you just act, you know, the same way. It's just, I don't know. I think I've dissected that too much. I'm overcompensating it. Make a character with flaws and a clearly defined shtick and follow that shtick. I think that's just it. And like make a character that would do things that you might not. I think it's also really fun. For the actual D&D style, I've noticed a lot of the sessions they do don't have any combat. And whenever they do have combat, they don't ever have a battle map. Which is something that I hardly imagine for my own sessions, where, like, my own games with people where there's every kind of combat. Of course, we gotta have a battle map, and it takes a while, and we gotta like make a really technical issue, like how do we beat this, blah blah blah. I guess maybe they also like cut down a lot of the downtime during combat while people are waiting for like their turns for figuring out shit. It's edited the show, so you know that probably does a great deal. But still, without a battle map, it's kind of crazy. And there's just not a lot of combat in the sessions in general. I kind of think in the current campaign we're playing, there's also not a lot of combat, which just stems from us kind of having a lot of freedom in what we want to do and the things we want to do, not really having that many common encounter affiliated with it. You know, we're just kind of traveling, looking around the world, talking to people, figuring out the world, and trying to gather some influence and stuff. Doesn't really need to have a common encounter. Yeah, shit. I'm running a one-shot in like a week, and it's probably gonna have a lot of combat. I'm kind of wondering if I should tone it down or if I should do something else. Maybe give a bigger, more abstract problem and see how they fix that instead of like this. Just a common encounter. Oh look, you're walking this way and now an attack spawns. You have to deal with that. That might not be as fun. Maybe instead I should just scrap a lot of the railroady ideas that I have and give them more of a sandboxy area of how to do something. Maybe instead of them sailing, I'm forcing them to sail through a Hydra den, like a place with a lot of Hydras, and I have like a plan encounter for that. I'll let them choose which direction to go. I'm gonna give them 3 options. I already kind of planned out the Hydra den really well. It's like a one-shot that I plan to put into a large campaign anyway. The world is going to be reused at some point, likely. This is like just a one-shot because we can't always, not all of us are there to play next session, so I'm just filling in the role of the DM while the DM is away. And I think if I don't manage to put everything I want in here, it'll still be a fun time. And I can still reuse most of my effort. So any actual work they put in I can easily just store that away. I'm like, alright, they didn't get to that. I'll make that later. I'll use that later. So I think maybe it'll be good at, this might be the perfect time to make one of those. We have 3 paths and each of them are very different. Then I just need to make sure that they are well informed and how, like each of the paths. I like that. Okay, they have a hydrogen. Okay, so here's how it goes. They escape, they're like shackles, they go to the docks, and they choose to either go to their crew who are being tied up and with a bunch of orcish warriors around them. They can go there and save their crew immediately, and however that encounter goes is however that encounter goes. Or they can go directly to the big boss right then and there, who is just personally attacked them, like personally, what's it called, just defiled them. Just done something, like said something personal against the players and like ordered them to die and stuff. And they can also see him or her actually actively boarding their ship with the players' loot. They have like a shit ton of loot when the session starts, and we're just gonna tell them, yeah man, you're about to get super rich, awesome work guys, you guys have worked for this for months now. Finally you have it, and you're just about to cash it in, and your life is gonna be perfect. But now suddenly this guy comes and steals it. Blah, blah, blah. So they have like the option to go get save their crew from the orcs, or go to attack the big bad who's stealing their money. And I'm gonna frame it as like, if you go to the crew, you won't be able to cash the big bad just yet. You're gonna have to follow them by ship. But if you go to the big bad, you might not be able to save your crew. They might die. And so it's kind of a moral dilemma, where low-key, they don't really get to choose. I guess maybe they will choose. I'll just say that if they end up choosing the big bad, they won't actually kill them. I'll let them fight a common encounter if they can actually beat them, or get like to maybe like half HP, if they maybe get them down to a quarter of their HP, maybe even half, just to make the combat encounter much easier. I'll say they managed to cut off her arm, literally disarming her, making her drop her super awesome scepter of fire, which she has, by the way. And then they get to have that really good magical weapon that's like 2 levels above them. And they can choose how to work with that. It's also a good weapon for the next encounter if they go to the hybrid. Then, you know, fire just happens to be a good tool against people with regeneration, I guess. Oh, I didn't see that. What? Oh, fuck. Yeah, so let's say they choose to attack the orcs and free their crew, whatever, however they free them. You can just talk them out of it as well. They're not that dedicated to killing the crew. So they do that. Then what happens? They get on the ship and they sail after the enemy, of course. If they don't, like, themselves get that idea, I'll just tell them, like, through one NPCs, like, holy shit, they stole our gold, oh my god, we guys will catch them. If we board now, we can do it. And it's just like, somewhat railroading, but it's just like the only thing they have of options, and why not do it, right? So one shot, it doesn't have to be super sandboxy. Arguably, the more sandboxy it is, the worse it gets, and we don't have that much time to play that weekend. So I think that's the best option. Then they'll catch them. They'll, like, take the boat and go to the hide, follow them, and they'll find the hider then. It's actually getting really stale. Then they just they wake up, have a common encounter, they go to the shore, likely have a common encounter, and then they go on ship. They go to the hydro den, where they'll have like an interesting uncommon encounter, I hope, where they kind of just have to survive as the ship passes through. Like different goals, but you know, might not be the best way to do a one shot actually. Just a series of common encounters. Then once they finally make it past the hydro den, they'll reach the bad guy's lair and shit. It's gonna be a fun little place where it's locked behind a little puzzle. I've made a logic puzzle for them, which I think they'll enjoy. So that shouldn't really take more than 15 minutes maximum. Should. And then once you know, they beat them, they're gonna meet the big bad, and that's when they fight the big bad and win. Now, fighting in Pathfinder is a lot of fun. So having a lot of combat encounters might be a good idea, just for that. But I feel like it's unfortunate that the entire thing is just a series of combat encounters. Maybe I should cut some of it out. Maybe the orc, like, getting their crew should be an entirely different thing. Instead of fighting them. I mean, they can talk. Maybe I should just, like, hone into that more. Somehow. One of the best combat, like, one-shots I've made was just the players, they enter a city that is kind of divided up into two parts. Ah, shit. All of the overcity and lower city, it's just the top part is super rich and happy, the bottom part is super poor and unhappy. And that's like the entire shtick of that area. The only way to get into the upper part is to look really fancy and cool, which is fitting well for the character whose entire shtick is he wants to look really fancy and cool. So they have to find a dress shop and get that. You have to make money for that dress shop and stuff. It's a different conundrum, right? How do we get into this upper city? And then they figure out, okay, they want us to have drip. How do we find drip? And they kind of make that self and go to Taylor and buy drip and stuff. No common encounter, just them needing to propose an idea and me judging whether or not that would be a good enough solution. I'm gonna fucking die here. I just realized. Oh right, he's fucking 180s immediately. You can't dash through him at a time. Oh, I thought I had dash. I died. Did not. Thank God. That's stupid. Oh, I might not have time with you here. I did? What's it? They all survived. God damn it. Hey, I won! How about that? Lucky, didn't expect that. I got them really low and stayed low for a long time. Alright. Alright. There we go. Whoops, I forgot to shoot. Alright, we win, we stay up. Who's next? American Group? Oh, I lose here. I don't think I'm used to this version of Grim. She's so fast. He? She? Okay. It's a King Grim, so it must be him. Ugh. Thank God I knew. Oh shit. Why aren't you not? Start complaining. That didn't happen. Oh, whoops. Who needs healing anyway? Dude, my toes are curling right now. Hey! Whew. That got my heart pumping actually, goddamn. Same with the Soap fight, but this one is just more intense focus, like holy shit. I think it's the last time I lost there. This is technically the farthest I've gotten on this channel. Wow! I do not know what I'll do if I win. I simply don't think I will. Pure Vessel. Also parryable. But I won't. There's a lot of cool shit you can do against this fight that I simply won't do because it's too far into the Pantheon. I'm not gonna fucking risk it. Pretty sure that's perfect parry. Speaking of parry, I like how he has kind of like you can kind of tell how much health he has based on his attacks. Cool health bar. I guess up in 3 segments, right? Oh shit. Like now I'm at the end. Oh. Ah, wrong move. Yeah. Foolish. Foolish me. Got hit twice in this fight. Not good. That's 2 times less I can afford to get hit in the next one. Oh fuck, I thought I had it. Whoopsie! Ah, kind of spawned where I want to go. And I don't have any soul. Oh, I don't have any dash. Oh yeah, it's a long time since I played that fight. Alright! Good to know that I don't have any worries of winning. Yeah, alright. Bye.